nurse. It's much more suited to our hospital environment than our other phones were. So now, on with the demo. This is a typical hospital head wall. There's a whole lot of hospital-related modules that can plug into a head wall. For this demo, the two that are important are the advanced bed management station and the patient station. Both of these stations are used by hospital staff within the room to call for assistance, to ask someone to come into this room and help them. And off the patient station down here, there's a pillow speaker. This one's used by the patient themselves to ask for a nurse to come and help them. Okay? Now, before the Nurse Connect solution, when any one of these stations were used to call for assistance, that call went to a central nurse station. And there's a unit secretary here who answers those calls and then finds someone to come to that room. Normally they'll overhead page, sometimes they might use a beeper page to ask someone to drop what they're doing and come and help this customer. With the Nurse Connect solution, now the call still goes to that central station, but it also goes directly to the nurse's 7925 phone. So let's take a quick look at that. The patient here has got a number of buttons. One of those buttons is water. So I'm going to press the water button. It still goes to the central nurse station. The central nurse, the unit secretary can see water has been requested, but it's also ringing on my phone. So when I answer the phone, you can see now, I'll press the mute button, but you can see that the nurse is in direct communication, two-way communication, and the nurse can say, oh, I see you press the water button. I'll be there in 2 minutes. I'll bring a big glass of icy cold water with me. Okay? So that's really helping that patient. He's not sitting there listening to the overhead page and wondering if and when someone's going to get to him. He knows immediately what the situation is. Another quick example. Let's say the patient got better and now the bed needs to be cleaned. This time when I'm going to press the cleaning needed button. Now this time you have to pretend I'm not a nurse, but now I'm the maintenance staff, the janitor, right? So when I press cleaning needed, the phone call doesn't go to the central station. It just goes directly to the maintenance staff phone that says someone has to come here and clean the room and make up the bed. And it's just an XML message there that says the room number and cleaning's needed. I'll just act that. Oops. I'll act that or it's going to keep.
You have to acknowledge it.
And just keep ringing and ringing until I say, okay, I'm coming.
If you don't, it will keep bothering you until you acknowledge it, or you go to the room and hit the button and say, yes, I've satisfied this request.
And you actually, yeah, that's me coming to the room to cancel that. So you've been able to see now that instead of everything being funneled through the central nurse station, we're able to go directly to the person who's going to respond to that call for assistance. Okay, so the next demonstration I'm going to take a look at is context-aware location services. And basically, this just amounts to putting these wireless tags. We partner with a number of different vendors to put these wireless tags that operate on the Cisco Unified Wireless Network. And we can put these on people or devices. And the reason for this is that we've found that about 30% of a nurse's time is spent looking for people or devices. So we put these tags on people on, let's see, it could be a care provider, it could be a patient, it could be a piece of equipment, or it could be a sample or a medication. And I'll go through a couple of quick examples. And one thing we often find is that when a nurse comes on shift, they'll look for the wheelchairs or the IV pools that they might need later on in shift and put them aside so that when that particular nurse needs a wheelchair, they know where to find it. Okay? And that leads to two problems. It means you end up needing to over-provision. You buy more wheelchairs than are really needed because half of them are hidden away. And it can also mean that when the next nurse looks for a wheelchair, they can't find it because the first nurse hid it away. Okay? So that with one of these, you could look up on a PC and say, I'm looking for a wheelchair and find me the closest one. Or you could do the same thing on a phone. Go through the menu, say I'm looking for a wheelchair, show me where one is, and I'll get a little map on the phone, a live map showing me the location of that wheelchair. The other example I like to talk about is tracking medical samples, such as, let's say there's a bone sample being taken. That bone sample needs to stay at a very defined temperature range. If it goes out of range, it becomes useless. This is where the context-aware bit fits in. You can put one of these tags with that bone sample in the fridge, and when the temperature starts to approach the extremities, an alert can be sent, and someone can come and make sure and fix the situation so that bone sample stays within the range it's supposed to be. Another quick thing is some of the badges have buttons on them. They could be used, if a healthcare provider has one, they could be used as a duress button to say, you know, I'm under duress, I need people to come here and assist me. So that's context-aware, location-based service.